Hello viewers, a very good afternoon and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. And let us talk about important matters. You know, a lot is happening during this particular moment in the nation of Zimbabwe. We have seen an interview from Jacob Mafume. We have seen an interview from Professor Welshman NCUBE. And Professor Welshman NCUBE, when he was addressing, he made some claims of autocracy, theocracy, and these claims were aimed at President Advocate Nelson Chamisa. But we need to take a look on what Welshman NCUBE said first. Or let us start with what President Nelson Chamisa said when the party was still new and he was interviewed to give a clarity and a clear view of Triple C and what was supposed to happen. We need to take a look onto this one because remember, Nelson Chamisa had lost the party which was formed by MDC, by Morgan Tsvangirai, the MDC. He had lost everything about the MDC and he started afresh. He had to launch his own party called the Citizens Coalition for Change. And we need to expose Welshman NCUBE and his team and show the world who they are. So I'm going to play this video from President Nelson Chamisa first, then we'll play another one from Welshman NCUBE.
You know, we're a new movement, but there are other people who are trying to import their old habits into the new movement. And these people are a dangerous lot. We are doing everything within our power to make sure that either they exercise and take off their old habits or we discard them. So that is the first thing, because you know that when you start something new, you have a new vehicle. People still want to jump onto that vehicle to contaminate it. So we are very conscious of that. That is the first problem. But the second problem also has to do with us being a new kid on the block. We still have teething problems, you know, because we are so loved and people are so willing to represent this new baby in parliament, in local authorities. There's always going to be that kind of, glitches administratively and technically, as has been the case. But there is an issue that we are dealing with. But going forward, I've also said, look, once bitten, twice shy. And I've learned my lessons as a leader. If I'm still the leader, because, the citizen movement has to choose the leader, ultimately. If I'm still the leader, we'll have to make sure that we centralize the issue of who signs for the people who then become candidates. And surely one person can't sign for double candidates. What caused problems that we have too many people signing? Like we had 4 people who were signing. Some now sign because, of proximity, familiarity, history, and other things. So those are some of the things we are trying to really flush out. It's not a walk in the park. It's not an instant coffee kind of thing. It's a very tough call. But I can tell you that you will not see the kind of problems.
So President Nelson Chamisa was clear when he had this interview where he was interviewed by Advocate Fadzai Maere. He was clear about Triple C being a new vehicle. Welshman NCUBE in the recent interview, he clearly confirmed that they last set as the MDC Alliance on 22 January 2022. And the Triple C was formed on the 24th of January 2022, which means these are 2 separate entities, 2 separate parties. So we need to hear what Welshman NCUBE said in an interview so that you get to understand the reason why we played the first video.
Maybe too much when I spoke to him personally myself.
But during those Tabangu days, did you guys try and say, but let's find each other?
Yes, this is the time when we're talking. But understand that by this time, there are fundamental differences in the party. There are differences in respect of which we no longer had a frame. We had suspended meetings of the Standing Committee, we had suspended meetings of the National Council. In fact, the National Council last met on the 22nd of January 2022. And we should not gloss over some of these differences if we are being honest and we are not deceitful politicians. And these differences do arise in life, in politics. These differences are genuine political, ideological differences. When some of us believe that if you are fighting a struggle against ZANU-PF, a ZANU-PF government which you characterize as authoritarian, as autocratic, as having accumulated centered power in one person. And we say we must be the antithesis of this. We must therefore demonstrably be the opposite of ZANU-PF. We must do, while in opposition, the things that we will be expected to do when we're in government. You cannot run an autocratic, an authoritarian, a theocratic opposition and then expect sincere, genuine people to believe that once you are in power, you will no longer believe in theocracy, you will no longer believe in autocracy, you will no longer believe in to those values and principles which required us to be literally the antithesis of ZANU-PF, to believe in democracy, to believe in transparency, to believe in accountability, to believe in making decisions.
So I have a lot of things to talk about right here very quickly. So we need to put together the interview of President Nelson Chamisa and the interview of Professor Welshman NCUBE. Professor Welshman NCUBE clearly told us that they last met as the National Council on 22 January 2022. I do not know the reason why they stopped meeting. But if we take a look on Triple C, which was led by President Nelson Chamisa, they continuously met after the launch of Triple C. They started meeting as a National Citizens Assembly. This was the new structure, which was now meeting in the name of National Citizens Assembly, which means there was nobody with a position. President Nelson Chamisa made it clear that there was no need for positions to be given. And they were supposed to go to Congress. He spoke about Congress. But because elections were looming, there was no resource, or resources were not enough for the party to hold the Congress. So they wanted to deal with the issue of elections first, then go for the Congress later. That was brilliant, a brilliant idea, to save the resources for the election, then do the Congress later. That was the point which was being made by President Nelson Chamisa. That is the reason why there were directorates which were formed. There was a directory which was leading elections, which was leading finance. There was the one which was leading communications, organizing. All these directorates, they were leading various portfolios on behalf of the politicians up until the time Congress would sit in and the new people would take over. That was the idea. That was the agenda. But Welshman NCUBE and the team started distancing themselves from the processes of President Nelson Chamisa. They started not coming to the citizens or to the National Citizens Assemblies. They started not attending these meetings. Why? It's because they felt that several people who were attending there were inferior. So they wanted the old guards to continue meeting and meeting and meeting and meeting. They didn't want any new faces. So President Nelson Chamisa spoke about the contamination of the new movement, which means this party was highly likely going to be contaminated by the old guards who wanted positions over everything else. So I do not see how President Chamisa became autocratic or theocratic in everything he was doing, because he decentralized everything. He remained the president and in charge, but he decentralized everything. Fadzai Mahere, Ostalo Siziba were running the communications department and others. Amos Chinsing was run by another person. The elections were being run by another person as well. So you see that each and every department was covered by people who were running this vehicle for the purposes of going for the elections in 2023, then prepare for the Congress probably in 2024. That is the reason why these people had to discard and disband Triple C before the Congress, because they knew that the Congress was going to bring in new people, new ideas, and the old guard who feel entitled to the opposition politics were going to be automatically discarded because they had distanced themselves from this new movement from the onset. That is the reason why there is this chaos of Daniel Moleleke. He is the spokesperson of the MDC Alliance on the 2019 structures, but Mafume is claiming to be the spokesperson. Charlton Wende was the Secretary General of the MDC Alliance in 2019, but right now we have Sengezo Shavangu claiming to be. Right now we have Welshman NCUBE working directly with Sengezo Shavangu, working as the president in a party where Sengezo Shavangu is claiming to be the Secretary General. Does that make sense? So if these people were sincere and genuine, they would have not destroyed the MPs, the senators, the councillors. They would have dealt with internal matters as it was supposed to happen. So the major question is, how did we have double candidates, issues being raised? So forgive me, my network is playing up. I don't know if I'm going to end this program, but I just have a few minutes left. So he labeled President Nelson Chamisa an autocratic leader, a theocratic leader. But yes, it's because of differences in ideology. President Nelson Chamisa does not believe in things like homosexuality, but the other leaders, they say you have to entrench homosexuality because you are a democracy. And when you say we cannot accommodate homosexuality, they call you a dictator. They call you an autocratic leader. That is the reason why they failed to sit down together and have consensus each and every time they had to meet. It's because of ideological differences in terms of what President Nelson Chamisa thought was supposed to be the direction this country was supposed to take, because he is the visionary who is supposed to give vision to the political organization or to the political framework. Welshman NCUBE had his own party, MDC N. By January 2022, he still had that party. It was still alive. How did he disband that political party? Tendai Biti was in courts fighting for PDP and he won. At what point did Tendai Biti stop or cease to be the member or the president of PDP? All those issues are very important. So take a look on 2021, the end of 2021. President Nelson Chamisa was having interfaces across Zimbabwe. These people were nowhere to be found. President Nelson Chamisa was doing that. Why? It's because he thought that it was necessary for this. All these people were not available. All these people were not there. But right now they've come to claim what they never worked for. So if you take a look on all these interviews from Jacob Mafume to Welshman NCUBE, they are insincere. They are insincere. And the videos we played right here, they show that Triple C, when it was formed, President Nelson Chamisa had a vision about the future. He had an inclusive vision of ideas, putting together ideas. But Welshman NCUBE and team, they are thinking about just a few individuals who started the MDC in 1999. And which means everybody who joined in between, or everybody who was not there, especially us young people who were not there during that particular moment, we have been excluded. We cannot partake in the politics of the opposition. Why? It's because there are people who feel that they are gatekeepers, and they will bring in their relatives and friends to represent in various portfolios in various areas, and we will be shut out. That is the thing which President Nelson Chamisa needed to cure. So you see that they've started a campaign against President Nelson Chamisa. That campaign has started. You will see several interviews being held. You will see several activities being held, all in a bid to silence President Nelson Chamisa and to make the Blue Movement fail. The major question is, will they be able to do so? So my network is bad, and I'm going to we have to talk about the elections, which are some new information which is critical, which you need to take a look on about the elections in the nation of Zimbabwe, and you need to take a look on the possibilities and the probabilities of such elections to happen. So if you are new, please ring the notification bell. Make sure that you have subscribed and you have rang the notification bell so that you don't miss out each and every time we have an update or we have a live program. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for the support.